Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role Players, we improvise stories to entertain you and ourselves a little bit. And we use role-playing games to keep the story going places even we can't see coming, because as theatrical people, we're all about maximising the drama. This episode is Act 1 of Vigil, the Great Fire, one of our main house productions. The main house is where we stage ongoing, serial stories, with characters and plots that develop and unfold over several productions. Vigil is the story of the outsiders and weirdos who step up to defend their neighbours from monsters and worse, after the government cuts their town's official team of paranormal investigators. To tell this story, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. The Great Fire is the 7th Vigil production. We do our best to make sure every production makes sense by itself, but with this one in particular, you'll get a lot more out of it if you've also caught up on Vigil Playtime, and to a lesser extent, Bad Dog and Quarry. Starting now, we'll be releasing a new act of The Great Fire every other week. In the meantime, please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role Players main house production. The Great Fire, Act 1 of 5. Please welcome to the stage the players for this main house production, starting with Ellie.
Hello, I'm Ellie. I'm playing Percy, the exile.
Hello, I'm Strat. I'm playing Brier, the monstrous.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm playing Mick the mundane.
I'm Chris, and I'm playing Ed Kincaid, the professional.
It's been quite some time since we've seen Mick. Mick hasn't been in this since Playtime.
The first one.
Yeah, the very first main house production.
This will Vigil. Be the last.
Mick is the alpha and omega, it turns out. Excited to be back?
Yeah, excited to be around a table.
Yeah.
There weren't tables for a long time, so it's nice to be around one.
You skipped that whole era.
Yeah.
And likewise, Chris, we haven't had you around. We've had you in Tourist Trap, but we haven't had you around a table for a little while.
I'm glad to see real human faces.
Even if it's these ones.
You work with what you got.
How's everybody feeling today? Are we excited about doing some monster hunting?
Yes.
I'm excited because this is the first ever Merely Role Players main recording or even studio recording that I've ever done with Dave.
Is it?
How has this happened?
Yeah, in many years.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the first one I did, and I was like, I drank loads of Red Bull when I did that. I wouldn't even consider Red Bull anymore.
Yeah, we'd only done Magna Hands. That's the only one we've been in at the same time.
I wonder if that means that your performance today will be much more tempered and adult.
Yeah, they'd be like, who is this?
Such low energy.
Mick has matured in 5 offstage productions.
I mean, it's also paired with, 19 months of not sleeping through the night, so I'm sure I'm going to be high energy today.
The context being we're welcoming you back from parental leave.
Yes, very long parental leave.
You're starting university next year, isn't it?
Well, without further ado, shall we begin this production?
Yes.
Yes.
The enthusiasm from half the table, confusion from the other half, and that is what I'm expecting from this combination of characters.
We've sat on these sides of the table for a very specific reason. It's the clueless side of the table.
Yeah, Mick and Kincaid don't know anything that's going on, and then Brier and Percy are two of the most clued up people in the series. This is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's the cool guys versus the nerds. It's fine.
Oh, no.
Fantastic. All right. Everybody ready to play?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Over the weekend, the River Brack burst its banks. There was heavy rain upriver, and sections of Sherrydown, sections of the roads and the parkland and the green are still covered in either running water or have become bog. Kincaid.
I know exactly where this is starting, I can tell.
You were supposed to leave town this morning. What were you in town for?
Well, twice a year, my mother insists I go and check up on my distant cousin, Michael. I don't know why she does this, but, it's easier to just go, and I've often got work to do around here anyway.
So did you find any work to do, or has this just been a pure kind of family visit this time?
I did my perfunctory, go have a cup of tea, ask how's your father's, and then went to the pub. So no, I have not found any work to do.
So yes, you were supposed to be driving back to London this morning, but when we find you, Kincaid, you are standing on the drive of Laneford's B&B, where you usually stay while in Sherrydown, next to your Morris Minor, while Stan, one half of the couple who runs the B&B, is standing in the road in his wellies as water runs down the road. He is a tall guy, starting to bald, big glasses, wears a cardigan and smokes a pipe. And he is standing there with water running past his wellies going, "No, the Morris is never going to get through this."
Oh, God, I concur, to be honest. I mean, I put all this gear in the back. It's sitting very low. It just won't. I don't want to try it.
What you don't want in a Morris is damp in the skirting boards.
No, not with the beautiful wood panelling.
Remind us what Kincaid looks like.
So, I mean, you could tell he was once, took reasonably good care of himself. I guess dad bod is kind of a pretty strong way of putting it. But yeah, it's also beginning to bald. But you can tell he can sort of handle himself, but he has somewhat let himself go. He's mostly suited as you'd expect someone working for OF5 to sort of be, but it's that dishevelled sort of old cop sort of look. The tie's not done up. The jacket is perpetually open.
Just exacerbated by the fact that you're not technically on duty right now.
Yeah, but he still feels he needs to sort of look that part.
Stan sort of gets a 1,000-yard stare and looks down the road at the water running down. I can tell you what it feels like to be trapped in a place. Feel like you're always coming back to the same place. You ever get that feeling? And can just never quite escape it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even live here, and I'd spend more time than I would ever have imagined here. So, yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from.
You notice a couple of things about Stan in this moment. First of all, as he speaks, he's exhaling clouds of smoke, but the pipe's not actually lit. And second of all, the water around his wellies, it's rushing past, so it's kind of subtle, but the water around his wellies is bubbling and turning to wisps of steam.
You're right there. You're looking a bit peaky.
And he turns to look at you, and without really trying to hide it, tips the pipe back down to his side, sticks it in his pocket, exhales a big cloud of smoke. You'll sympathise, then, with the feeling of being stuck in a dead end, knowing you would do anything to get out. And you can see the flicker of flames behind his eyes.
Yeah, unbutton the holster. Come on, say, can't be that bad. Can't be that bad.
While you're here in town, do me the favour of telling Miss Byron that my patience is running out. and the water around Stan's ankles is really bubbling and steaming now. He's standing in this cloud of mixed steam from the water around him and smoke coming out of his mouth.
It's drawn a gun time. In fact, with a sigh, it's always like... It's like, okay, you keep your distance now. From the motor and all.
Stan and I both share an appreciation of vintage things. Rebuilt over many years, kept pristine. And Stan takes a steaming step towards you.
Warn you once, there won't be another one. Another step, and I have to put you down.
This vessel's burning out anyway. And he takes another step, bursting the water into steam this time.
Shoot him in the leg.
Roll to kick some ass.
Are you going to use the cursed tower or go through
The
it?
cursed tower's miles away, and behind a microphone I'd have to sort of hug.
Yes,
So this is going to be...
Consider that ass kicked. That's a powerful two.
Snake eyes.
So it's Monster of the Week, so we're rolling 2 six-sided dice and adding a stat. The stat for kick some ass is plus tough. We've rolled a 2 on the dice.
It's a powerful 3.
Yeah. That is not...
I presume that's going to cut it.
Mark experience.
Because no.
You shoot Stan in the leg, and the bullet goes through his flesh, and instead of blood coming out, the leg just entirely bursts into flame, like his skin was just a shell around a burning fire. And it rapidly spreads up his torso as he continues to walk towards you, and as you're lining up a second shot, lands a now burning hand on your upper arm.
Started so well. So glad to be back.
Now you're on fire.
Am I in water?
So it's
Or
not
is it
it's
just
not
the rain
actually
ahead?
raining, and the drive is raised. So the Morris is not in water. You are not in
I
water.
would need to find myself
Yeah.
in water. Okay.
So the sleeve of your jacket catches fire, and you take one harm as his burning grip grasps onto your upper arm. He leans close. You can feel the hot, flaming breath on your face. Tell her I'm waiting. And then Stan combusts. And it's like a fire collapsing rather than an explosion. So he just sort of collapses in on himself into ashes.
I'm going to wrestle my way out of the jacket,
Yep.
ideally. And take a moment, take stock of the situation. I presume it's just sort of a heap.
Yep.
It's no longer flaming, just like a scorch mark and a...
The pipe is just sitting there scorched in a little pile of ashes.
Just a bit of a prod with the old boot there. I'm going to have to talk to someone about this.
Mick.
Hi.
Various bits of Sheridan are flooded. The river's burst its banks, the flood defences have done nothing. Some people's back gardens are underwater, the bottom floors of certain people's houses are pretty damaged. The floodwaters are in the midst of subsiding, and we're at that sort of stage where people are assessing the damage and starting to shore up the most urgent things. As a bricklayer, what are you up to right now? What's your current job?
So I think over the weekend, Mick will have been helping out friends and family, like sorting their stuff out. And now he's just sitting there with his phone just ringing constantly, trying to field when he can do work and who he can help and when. Because everyone is going to be needing him to pop around and shore up the house and get any water out and that sort of thing. So probably just trying to hide my phone and not listen to it anymore.
You've left your phone in the cab of the van.
Yeah. Just ringing. Yeah. And I can hear it ringing in the background.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm in someone's garden, kind of building a little dam at the back to probably one that's near the river, so that it's trying to help them next time.
Yeah, it's a bit late for prevention, but you can help.
Yeah.
If this happens again, you can get some stuff in place. You're being offered cups of tea regularly. This is somebody you've probably done some work for before. Everybody in town knows you. You're a reliable worker. You get to kind of the end of a phase of work and get to the point where you need to pop back through the house and out to the van for supplies for whatever the next phase is. Remind us, as Mick's sort of standing up from the wall and heading back through the house, remind us what Mick looks like.
I think the only thing we established was that he wore glasses. Apart from that, he looks like a typical old builder. Not old. I think he's
has got a few miles.
He's got his hands are all calloused, and he's in good shape just from physical work all the time. Probably be in some overalls at the moment. Just exactly how you'd imagine a builder.
And as you sort of throw open the back doors of the van and climb in to root around and get all of the stuff that you need, how neat or not neat does Mick keep the back of the van?
He knows where everything is, but it's not. It looks like complete chaos in there, but he'd be able to tell you exactly. Oh, well, the paint's down there and the tools are this side, but it doesn't look tidy at all.
As you're climbing in, something catches your eye that you haven't paid much attention to for quite some time. The odd device or part device or whatever, you've never really worked out what it was, that you discovered in Mrs. Campbell's home when you were chasing down what had happened to your niece Pippa. A weird kind of conglomeration of recycled plastic and ceramic and a bit of glass in there as well. It looks like it might be a component of something, but you've never really worked out what it might be. And it's just been knocking about in the back of the van ever since then. Just kind of catches your eye as you're loading back up for this next stage of the work. And then the doors of the van shut behind you.
I bang on the doors.
So you turn around and somebody's in the van with you and has shut the doors behind them. It's Charlton Abbott, the lollipop man. He's pretty elderly, he's well retired, wearing his high vis and his big bottle-bottom glasses that he always wears while shepherding the children across the zebra crossings at the school. And he's in a half crouch in the back of the van with you, one hand still on the door handle, having just pulled the door shut behind him, and one hand out, palm out to you. Please, Mick, just go with it.
Good. Do you want a high five, Charlie? Is that...
The van starts.
Who's driving?
It's all right. It's just Dennis. Dennis is a postman who you know has a route that goes through this area.
I mean, I'm not getting married. This isn't a stag, is it? What's going on?
It's all right. Just stay calm and everything will be all right.
I mean, I'm pretty calm, but you have just stolen my van.
It's not you that it wants. That's what you need to know. So, if you just keep everything very calm, everything's going to be all right. And you start to smell smoke in the back of the van as he's speaking.
There's some flammable stuff in here. Are you okay?
All the more reason to keep things calm and cool. We don't want anything becoming inflamed.
It's okay. I will sit tight.
All right, lovies, it's me, Matt, your compere. While the players are getting ready for their next scene, why don't you and I take a little flick through the programme? If you're just joining us for this new production, you might not know that we're also running another one in parallel on Instagram. You can find our Instagram at instagram.com/merelyroleplayers. That production is called The Feed, and it's a video series told through diary room updates from the housemates in a series of Big Brother where not all is as it seems. I'm in it playing a Thesp reluctantly making the move to TV. Alexander Pankhurst, who you may know as Graham in Vigil, who you'll have heard in Bad Dog and Playtime, is also in it as a disgraced local radio DJ. And we're also joined by some guests from other shows. Fiona from What Am I Rolling, who's guested on Merely Role Players before. Quinn from Monster Hour, another show that did a season of Monster of the Week, though they're currently now playing Absurdia, a game that Quinn themselves designed. Adam from the Snyder's Return podcast, who interviewed me about Lights Out, our stage show a year or so ago. And Chloe Masheter, the designer of the Andromeda Ward, which we played in a studio production a little while back. For the feed, we're playing the role-playing game Unreal by Josh Fox from Black Armada Games. And we've reached the point where it's becoming undeniable that something is wrong and supernaturally weird in the Big Brother house. Undeniable, that is, to all except my character, Melvin, who is still merrily going about his business thinking he's on a normal series of Big Brother. So follow us on Instagram at Merely Roleplayers to catch all of the updates. And while you're there, while you're catching up on those updates, don't forget to follow all of the other shows that are involved as well. Over the page here at the back of the programme, it looks like there's some ads for those very shows that are involved in the feed. Let's take a closer look at one of those now.
Good morning, afternoon, nighttime, or no time. I'm your host, Sebastian Strange, and this is Somewhere Public Radio.
Max was traveling in time and basically fell out. Mercurial, reckless, and very, fuck it, I'll do it myself. She's gonna know that I'm not time-wise from here, walking around with a Zweihander. Max has a really elaborate pocket watch.
Which the city council is going to use to spy on you and control your time movements.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Claire Claremont, with her vacant eyes and her violent smile and her very sallow skin. What would it be like if you had someone come back from the dead and be Gwyneth Paltrow? I have a womb simulator.
Oh. I don't like that.
Occasionally on windy nights, I still get flashbacks to my time as a vassal.
Eat the heart, Claire.
Duncan Oliver, investigative, friendly, a little flirty. He works at the radio station WSOM, Radio Somewhere.
This story deserves to be covered.
I agree. We should get our best reporters on it. And Duncan kind of looks around.
Sebastian looks around.
Oh.
Citizens of Somewhere, this is a emergency broadcast update. It is advised that everyone please stay off the street.
The city council, praise be, the Screaming Fog.
Oh, shit.
I don't even refer to them by name. I don't want to give them that kind of power.
The Flayed Beyond, which is generally pretty bad.
No, it sounds horrible.
Bus is sentient, Bus is alive, Bus is forever.
A Leviathan of steel and tinted glass.
Run! Run!
Season 2 of Monster Hour.
Now please return to your seats in the main house. We're about to raise the curtain again for the continuation of Vigil, The Great Fire, Act 1.
At that moment, a cat that has been asleep in the back of Mick's van and has just been having fun going around with Mick, knocking bricks off of walls. Occasionally, he would discover the phone that he thought he'd left in the van right next to him and has to go and put it back in the van. And then a few hours later, it's back next to him again for some reason. The cat gets up, turns around in a little circle, and suddenly turns into a small green pixie. Do you need a hand, Mick?
I don't know.
Why are you stealing this mortal? He is mine!
The smell of smoke intensifies as Charlton starts breathing more heavily.
That's it. I'm going to go and talk to Dennis. And Brier turns around and just walks through the partition into the cab. Says, Dennis, what are you doing?
Brier, you appear in the cab through the back wall of the cab and find Dennis Grantham, the Sheridan postie, driving the van, looking kind of tentative, like he's not used to it. And there is that pall of smoke in the cab as well.
Stay out of this, Pixie.
You're not Dennis.
Of course I am. Look at me.
Nah, I recognise that flame. Handbrake turn! And Brier's just going to pull on the handbrake. Brier recognises this fire. It burnt down the forest, so they're not giving this thing any time of day. So I think it's basically the plan is just stop them doing what they're trying to do.
Give us a roll plus cool to act under pressure.
Cool, that's my worst stat. Sadly, it would have been a mixed success, but that's a fail.
It says roll 7 on the dice, -1.
-1.
Mark experience. Unless you're going to spend luck.
Oh, I'll spend some more luck.
What
It seems
happens
like the
when you-
episode where joy needs to be even more
More joy.
pressing.
What happens when you spend luck?
My pure drive, so
Oh.
the urge to be mischievous
Increases.
You've spent luck, so this roll is now a 12.
Brier has timed it so that Dennis is turning round, and as he turns, I think the van is just going to flip onto its side and sort of like just keep on sliding. So it's Dennis side down.
Mm-hmm.
As that all goes onto its side, Brier is going to turn into something heavy. Let's say there's now a large pig in the cab, pinning Dennis to the floor. And it's just going to slide to a stop and hit a very solid and well-built wall that Mick had put up a couple of weeks before.
Ooh, can it hit one of Mick's mysterious brick sculptures?
Absolutely can.
One of Brixie's mysterious brick
Yeah,
sculptures.
it's a mysterious Brixie in the middle of the roundabout that we were going around, maybe. And that is going to knock the back doors open.
Mick, everything falls off the shelves in the back as the van tips onto its side. Cans of paint flying, bricks
Which
flying.
is the paint side? Which is the chalk side?
You fall and Charlton falls and all is chaos and light streams in as the back doors of the van fall open.
Having seen the device thing on the way in, I'm going to try and just grab that because I feel like I'm drawn to it at the moment and try and just like almost use the fall and the chaos as a way of just getting out of the back of the van.
I think because Brier succeeded so well at the manoeuvre, that in fact, yeah, we'll call that a +1 forward. So do act under pressure and add an extra 1 for Brier's good manoeuvre.
Okay, so I roll cool.
Yep.
I got 3 plus 1, so I'm on a 4.
You grab the mysterious object. You try to roll elegantly out of the van, like using the momentum of the flip. But Charlton seems more alert than Lollipop Man in his 70s, who's just been in a car accident, should be, and tackles you into almost like a wrestling hold as you're trying to roll out of the van. His body is hot. It's not burning, but you can definitely feel it. It feels like he's running a really high fever.
Help! Help!
Brier in the cab. Dennis also feels very hot under your pig body.
Pig leaps through the...
gracefully.
Bumbles again through the partition and just bum rushes headlong.
So Charlton and Mick are both still inside the van, and Charlton is like wrapped around Mick.
Yep.
In a hold. So
Yeah,
you're bum rushing both of them if you're bum rushing anyone.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just full pig charge.
Full pig charge, yep.
I mean, you get experience if this counts as protecting me in some way.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I am.
Then roll defend someone or protect someone, I think it's called.
Yes. Oh, that's tough. Oh, I'm good
It's
at that.
plus tough.
That's what I'm good at. So that's an 8.
And mark experience for protecting Mick.
Yay!
I'm always the victim.
Help!
I think it looks like a very large pig running at 2 men in a van. There's no pig in the van. Suddenly there's a pig in the van. Suddenly pig and 2 men are out the back of the van, and the force of said pig has just separated them. And yeah, Charlton has rolled towards the Brixie. Mick has rolled the other way, and there's a pig between them, doing its very best to look intimidating.
Brier, you know what would be hilarious right now?
Absolutely.
Is if you just rabbited and just left Mick here now. If you were just like, I've got you out of this, you can deal with the rest of it yourself. You're welcome.
I think this is
I've done my bit.
I'm going to do this. In fact, this is a good opportunity to experiment with Mick's power and what Mick is capable of. So rather than just rabbiting, Brier will just become a crow and just hop up onto the top of the Brixie and just look down with interest.
Like, your turn.
Yeah, I did my pig thing. Off you go.
I mean, I think I'm just going to run. Mick isn't a fighter on his own. He's kind of just trying to get by all the time. So it's just like, I just don't want to be here.
I could see this being act under pressure to kind of get away from them, or if you're really putting some effort into it, I could see this being a no limits.
Is Charlton, chasing straight away?
He is getting to his feet as you are, and still looks intent on capturing you.
So maybe make it a no limits thing, and let's try and just kind of run through him. Just as fast as I can, American football style, shoulder barge.
Beautiful.
And away.
Give us a roll plus weird.
Oh no. That's a -1. That is a 9 -1, so an 8. I do it, but I choose one, take one harm, or take a -1 forward.
I mean, I feel like the harm kind of makes sense here, but it's up to you.
Yeah, no, that does make sense, because I'm running into a hot lollipop.
It's not the first time it's been described that way.
So Mick puts a shoulder down and just charges straight through Charlton. The stress of the car crash seems to have accelerated fanned the flame within Charlton. The smoke is building in clouds from his mouth and nose, and you can see some of the skin on his face beginning to blacken and flake as the fire within him grows. You successfully barge through him, because though he has this supernatural power inside him, his form is still that of a 70-year-old man.
So just total the 70-year-old man.
I mean, the pig started it. Do you think you full on flip him over you? Or
yeah, I
just,
think he flips over
him?
me, and I think I'm going so fast that I kind of take a few bricks off the wall as I run through as well, off the monolith, and kind of surprise myself in that. Yeah. I'm not expecting that to happen.
Yeah, you feel something. You haven't felt this for a little while, probably not since you fought the Figment Sharks, but something is kind of flowing through you. It feels like it's flowing up through you, through the ground and through your feet, and filling you up with strength. And you find yourself running through him almost at the speed the van would go. He flips over your head, Brier sort of gives you marks out of 10 at somersault, and lands heavily on the roundabout, and you are off running.
So on this,
as fast as a van, am I literally blasting away?
I think you're doing a solid 30.
Yeah, I think Brier's actually having to make an effort to go fast enough to keep pace, which is not something that they'd usually have to deal with mortals. And can I take this opportunity to try and investigate a mystery, and the mystery of what Mick's power is?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Sweet. Sharp, right? That's a 0.
Plus sharp, yes.
Oh, that's a 9.
Oh. So you get one question from Investigate a Mystery.
What is being concealed here?
Okay. You're observing Mick performing a superhuman feat. Are you doing anything else actively to kind of investigate this, or are you just kind of observing and trying to draw conclusions?
I think I will be looking for any signs of kind of magical intervention.
Mm-hmm. As well as Mick, with your kind of fey sight, you can see kind of flows of magical energy and supernatural things beyond the veil. There are sort of various ley lines running through Sherrydown, and as Mick runs, the nearest ley line starts to blaze. What is being concealed here is that it's not just Mick dug down and hit a ley line and that changed him. Every time he calls on this power, he is drawing from the ley lines around the town.
So he's maintaining a connection to them.
That's super cool.
I will say also, ley lines are invisible lines of magical force that run underground through all of England. There are lots of different theories about what they are, why, whether they're natural, whether somebody might have put them there. So there is a kind of deeper mystery behind this as well that may shed some light on exactly, more precisely what's going on.
Can Brier remember a time when that ley line wasn't there?
Ooh, interesting question. There have been ley lines around since Brier has existed, but they do shift.
Okay, interesting.
Last question to Mick before we end the scene. Any thoughts in your head about where you're running to, or is it just away from these people?
Did I manage to grab the thing?
You did.
I've got the thing with me. I think I'm probably taking it to the smartest people I know, so towards wherever Percy is holed up at the moment.
On that note, Percy.
Hello.
The grounds of the ruined Sherrydown Abbey have been hit pretty hard by the flooding.
Oh dear.
We've established already that the ruins are in a kind of a hollow, so you're a little bit on the floodplain.
Yeah.
So in your capacity as caretaker of this site, obviously you don't have to do everything alone, but like, have you called on people? Like, what have you been doing to try and help protect the site from the flood?
I was just going to paddleboard my way around and work out what the damage was and sort of start sorting it myself. But Gwyn, who keeps a close eye on me, probably will have just noticed that needs doing and that I'll need people. So I reckon
people and sandbags.
Yeah, I reckon she's called in the local National Trust people.
They
volunteers.
would be totally on it, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Great. So over the weekend, you've had this like small army of volunteers in a complete mad panic, hardly sleeping, trying to like put up all the flood defences to try and save the ruins. The bottom floor of your cottage has had some damage, but the top is okay.
Okay.
And it's just getting to the point now where the waters are starting to subside enough that you can relax a little bit. Has that mad panic taken your mind at all, or been much of a distraction from the voice in your head?
Yes, I think it's been a welcome distraction. It's only when I'm very busy that I can ignore it. So I'm sort of strangely sad about the water receding.
So where do we find you taking like a quiet moment as the waters are receding, and remind us what Percy looks like?
Percy has got long dark hair worn in a side plait. She has made some concessions to modern clothing, finds jeans to be much more practical than the skirts she was previously obligated to wear, but has kept a very Victorian upper half with tailored jackets, wears her armoured vest at all times, and due to the soggy underfoot situation is rocking some riding boots currently. She's actually up in the one remaining turret of the Abbey's remains, which appears to be inaccessible and therefore no one else goes up there, but she's rigged up a rope that she can easily climb up, and then has got sort of the most important books and papers and things that she's studying hidden away up there.
The voice that has been occasionally breaking through into your mind ever since the estate agent Toby burned you with his hand, speaks to you some more. Miss Byron, as I've been saying, our appointment is overdue. Do you not think?
As I keep saying, it's Ms. Byron. And I mean, you haven't given me any reason to take up this appointment with you, really. So, have you got anything new to say?
I remain offended by this. I sent my calling card the moment you arrived in this time period, and nearly a year has passed since then, and still you have not called. I feel neglected, Ms. Byron.
What happened to good old-fashioned letter writing? That's what I want to know. Would have been much more efficient if you'd put it in writing and then left me to think about it at my leisure, instead of invading my space, the people around me.
Your continued neglect of our correspondence forced me to this situation. I hoped you would
act of your own volition, I hoped that this would not be necessary, but it seems that your hand must be forced or it will not move at all.
Fine. Restate your terms.
Find me. Come to where I am, and we will talk specifics, but I offer an undoing of the destruction and the death that I have caused. A rolling back of this awful timeline. Can you truly say that this is not something that would appeal to you?
I cannot.
This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Roleplayers. It stars Ellie Pitkin as Persephone Byron, Dave as Mick Mason, Strat as Brier, and Chris McLennan as Ed Kincaid. I'm Matt Boothman and I play the supporting cast. Editing and sound design by me, and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on.
Brier, you find... I'm trying to remember his last name. I have got it somewhere.
Tennis? Is it?
That would be...
Dennis Posty, right? That's Dennis Letter.
We gave him the last
That's the name we could eventually establish.